All right, what's up, brother?
What's happening?
Pretty good, pretty good. Happy Sunday. I might
Yes,
close.
sir.
Hold on one
Happy
second.
Alive Day.
Indeed, indeed. Let me move this up a little bit. A little more. All right, there we go. All right, sorry. Always got to adjust it when somebody come in.
I mean, out in the streets looking crazy right now.
All right, well, let's go and get started, brother. So we're having this conversation because I want to speak with people who disagree with me politically. So I'll let you take the floor on what you disagree with me about.
Uh, First off, I'm gonna set it by saying I'm a former registered Democrat. I re-registered, no party affiliation around the time of Bernie Sanders, I believe. Um, I had I admittedly vote blue down ticket.
Okay.
The top of the ticket when Bernie ran and got shafted, I did not vote blue all the way down ticket. The top of the ticket, I had a protest vote,
Okay.
and I am not a. My belief is that both parties are inherently corrupt and fatally flawed,
Okay.
and there are different brands of corruption. I believe the Democratic brand of corruption is elitist. I believe the Republican brand of corruption is racist.
Okay.
And I gather this by actions and party platforms and by the people who are associated.
Okay.
So my question to you, one of my questions is, did you post? I believe you posted about Project 2025. Did you not?
No, I think I might ask people what they thought it was or something like that.
You mentioned it, but you didn't post
No,
about it.
it's not 100 pages. I don't have that time, brother. I got to leave.
Okay. I mean, you posted about everything else, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just
And you defended Trump in numerous ways. So I want to get, but for the sake of conversation, I want to have a clear understanding of where you stand and what you have posted, because I have been watching, I have been commenting, as you can see. So the Project 25 connection, Project 2025 connection. What do you see there? Is it nothing to see here, or something to see here, or what's your position on that?
I think that it's the same thing as what was that thing called? The Green New Deal. Like it's looked at as something that's the Democrats' party position as opposed to something I think that came from like AOC or something like that. So there could be somebody in the party that has this idea that seems very radical, but it doesn't mean that it represents the entire group. I think Project 2025 is an idea that is one of those conservative think tank things. Like if you listen to what those people say, they say it's not connected to Trump. They say that it's been around since the 80s or something like that as an advisory position to conservative presidents. And that, well, me personally, I know Trump isn't really much of a conservative. You know, he's more of a social liberal. So I don't even think that those people who would be as kind of religiously extreme as those people would really even like a guy like Trump. I think that that's just the guy at the moment. But are is anything of those policies going to be implemented into Trump's policies as far as like abortion? I think that's the main thing people cared about. I don't think so. He says that he wanted to kick it down to the states. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So that's what it seems like is his position. If people that are with Project 2025 might be on his cabinet or something like that, I think that's the same thing as like saying like an AOC on somebody's cabinet. Doesn't mean that they're going to be implementing the Green New Deal. Unless, of course, it's politically expedient to make everybody think that you are. It doesn't seem politically expedient for Trump to make everybody feel like he's going to completely federally ban abortion or I don't know what the other things are on there, but that seems to be the main one that everybody spoke about.
Did you see Trump disassociating himself from Project 2025 and saying that he had nothing to do with it and didn't know about it and wasn't familiar with the Heritage Foundation?
I have.
You saw that. So you saw him disassociate himself, and now you see him appointing authors from Project 2025 to his cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So nothing to see there, or what do you think about that?
But it's like the AOC thing. That's why I use that as an example. If somebody was to appoint AOC to their cabinet, I don't think that they're going to be necessarily implementing the Green New Deal. I think she would be pushing to try to get that implemented, but I don't necessarily think that that would be expedient to the people who actually run the party. So there's a benefit to her being on the cabinet, but not necessarily as far as policy implementation. That's what it would seem like. Now, I don't know what these people's positions are, what they plan to do. It would be like saying that because it'd be like saying if, well, like a great example that I like is like, say, for example, this is not, there's an example of this, but I can't remember the thing that the person believed. But let's just say Thomas Edison, right? A genius in the one thing that he was doing, but he also believed a lot of fringe things. So the fringe things come with the genius. That's what it's like to me. If you're going to bring somebody in, then you have to take everything that comes with it. Like a Robert F. Kennedy, they like to use him and say that he's a conspiracy theorist and all that stuff, but it also comes with the health initiatives that most people actually agree with. So you have to take that with the other stuff. You know, I'm not saying I disagree with the conspiracy theory stuff. I haven't looked into it, but that's what I mean about the authors of Project 2025 being hired by Trump. Doesn't mean that they're coming in to implement those things. But if they are conservatives, if they are actually people who are, in a sense, conservative activists, I think that they could be very useful.
So you don't, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you straight up. Project 2025, from my vantage point, and Trump disassociating himself from it. Now, the Heritage Foundation, he's spoken in front of them. He supported them. They supported him openly. There are, I don't know, 100 or so of the authors, 100 or so of workers in Heritage Foundation and the authors of Project 2025 who came from Trump's previous administration, right? So he's like, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know anything about it, like during his campaign. His name is mentioned over 300 times in Project 2025. So when you say Green New Deal, you don't see AOC's name in Green New Deal, or you don't see Obama's name, or you don't see Hillary Clinton or anybody. You don't see politicians' names in that. It is a political sort of platform and movement.
Well, it's not the
that is
opposite.
It's minus a specific individual. Project 2025 is a particular, it's a very specific Trump plan to be enacted when he gets into office.
Okay. Let's say that is true. What is your fear? That's what I'd like to know.
I wouldn't label it a fear, but here's what I'm gonna tell you. Okay. The first thing I think is campaign fraud. Because if you disassociate yourself completely from something and say, no, that's not me, that's not me, and then you turn around and as soon as you get elected, you start cherry picking authors and members of that organization, that's a fraud. You could just be open and say, look, Project 2025 has some great ideas, has some great people. I'm not distancing myself from it. I'm with it. He didn't do that. So that's a lie. That's a fraud in and of itself. There's no way to spin that. I don't care if Obama does it, if George Bush does it, or anybody else. That's fraudulent. If Obama,
we disagree there, but I understand.
I have nothing to do with the Nation of Islam, and then the next thing you know, Louis Farrakhan is his chief of staff. You're gonna be like, bro, what is this? Obama wasn't a Muslim. Obama wasn't openly giving his religious views, but he got tied at the ankle to the Reverend, forget his name. He got tied at the ankle to this guy for something he said.
He attended his church, that's why. But I understand.
He attended his church, but if I go to somebody's church, that doesn't mean that I'm embracing all of their views or that I agree with everything they say. I go to their church.
No one's saying that.
But that's what here's what I'm telling you. In the parallel between an Obama and a Trump, Obama accusations came out of nowhere. Oh, he was born in Kenya. Oh, he's a Muslim. Oh, he's a this. Oh, he's got radical views like this minister. Came out of manufactured association.
Okay.
The Trump association with Project 2025 is direct actual people involved in his administration and a plan that's in line with the Stephen Miller whole platform, because that's who's really behind Trump's entire platform and his movement is Stephen Miller.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, the problem is that you believe that Trump lied and you're not okay with that. It's not about the policies that'll be implemented.
First problem. Okay, that's problem number one.
That's what I'd like to understand. What is the main issue with Project 2025, even though there is no actual concrete proof established that that's what's going to be implemented? What we have now is speculation because of a hiring,
Tom Homan, the man he
just like
appointed as
speculation
border
of
czar,
Obama.
Tom Homan, you know who that
I know
is?
who that
Okay.
is. I rock with Tom Homan
So,
and his beliefs in immigration and deportation.
and you've seen his involvement with Project 2025.
I don't know, brother, but what
Okay,
I
so
do
it's
understand,
hard to, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Because part of my issue with you
that's why I'm
specifically,
asking you to
I'm
be
gonna hold on.
specific about the
I'm
issue.
gonna time out right now because I'm gonna pause and give you this what my real issue is with you before we go outside of a Trump or anybody
But
else. So
brother,
my issue with
we have to
you
move and
is that
flow in the conversation,
okay,
right?
I'm flowing right now. I'm gonna
Because
flow with you.
I
I'm gonna
don't want to
give me
lose you.
5
You can
seconds and we're gonna flow.
hold
So
on, brother.
you
Because
put up a lot of
hold on, brother.
misinformation
This is my
and
stream.
go ahead.
This is
Go
my
ahead.
stream. I ask for that
Go
respect. All right. I
ahead.
would like to dictate how this runs. So what I'm saying is, before you get to me and your problems with me, because the stream that's not, you've expressed that a million times in the comments. Everybody here knows your
But it's
beliefs.
all related.
What I
That's
would
what I'm
like to
telling you. It's
understand is your
relative.
main issue with Project 2025, because in my opinion, right now, this is a distraction because it's not even established that that's what is going to be implemented. We're having a conversation about what
But
could be.
you saying that in and of itself that's projecting. That's a form of gaslighting
So what is
because
your
you're saying,
problem
well,
then
it's not
with
even
Project
established that that's
2025?
what he's going to do.
So what
But
is your
he's putting
problem?
all of these
So what
Project
is the problem, brother?
2025 people into position.
So what
So
are you afraid
you're
of is
looking at
going to
me and saying,
happen?
well, that's not what he's. I'm pissing on you and
So
telling you it's raining,
what
but
are
it's
you
not really
afraid is going
piss. It's
to happen?
rain.
So what are you afraid is going to happen, brother? Well, that's what I'd like
I'm
to do.
not afraid. Here's what I'm telling you. I'm not afraid of anything happening. I'm speaking the truth of what's happening.
Let me rephrase. What policies in Project 2025 are you against?
The overall concept of Project 2025 is white nationalism. Understand
In which way?
that.
In which way?
So the cleaning house of I'm not opposed to having strong borders. I'm not opposed to having, like to the legal aspect of becoming a citizen. I'm not opposed to any of
Okay.
that. But in reality, doing concentration camps, basically rounding up a bunch of people arbitrarily and doing concentration camps and having denaturalization where you can take away people's citizenship. Like, I don't know where your family is from, but if somebody could come up to me and be like, you know what, we saw in your ancestry DNA that you got Nigerian,
That
so you got to go back to
that's
Nigeria. You're
good.
no longer a.
That was accurate. That's very accurate.
What do you mean?
Ancestry is Nigerian.
Yeah, I got some Nigerian ancestry too. That's part of my DNA. But I'm saying if they came to me and said, you know what, you got to go back to Nigeria because we're taking away your citizenship. That's pretty much what Project 2025 is. Not only it's destabilizing the Constitution and it's jeopardizing constitutional rights that we have right now overall. And it is a form of white nationalism. That's where all of that is coming from. So when you look at the policies on abortion and on the border or immigration and on putting what's being taught in schools, like it's indoctrinization as opposed to education.
Okay. I'm not trying to cut you off. I think we might have 10 minutes before it cuts off. So if it does, we're going to jump back on here. Just let you
Yeah,
know.
no problem.
All right.
So that's my issue is that, for one, outside of my issues with Project 2025, what you're putting on your platform for all of the people that are watching is important. And a lot of it is either ill-informed, misinformed, or misguided. So when I'm asking you about the connections between Donald Trump and Project 2025 or about Stephen Miller, and you're like, well, I don't really, that's the core of what this political issue is. So if you can't speak on who Stephen Miller really is and what his role really is, it's hard to have an informed political discussion And that's part of what I feel is missing in a lot of your posts. The posts about Biden and giving Ukraine, access to long-range missiles. Well, that's true, but that is another chess move from Russia bringing in North Korean troops and firearms on the ground. So that's something that you got to give you have to give all of the information in order for people to have an informed political discussion. And in order for even about Kamala, like, you got to give all of the information. I'm not a fan of Kamala, but there's a lot of misinformation out there that got spread, and that's part of what happens in elections. Oh, but Trump is running on, oh, I have nothing to do with Project 2025 and I'm not racist. You're saying Trump's not racist. You post that. But then you look at Stephen Miller, who's basically the Trump mouthpiece and sculpting all of Trump's policies. He's a die-hard white supremacist.
Because
So
he does
again,
what? Because he does what? That's what I'm asking.
because if you study up on Stephen Miller, he's about white supremacy. He's about everybody being inferior to whites, and about that being, they will not replace us in America. Like, that's the whole platform. So
That's
everything they
Miller's
do is
platform.
based on that.
Stephen Miller's platform is they will not replace us.
Essentially.
And see, this is what I'm saying, brother. When I'm asking you these questions, the answers are so vague that it really leads to nothing.
But that's
It seems like
not
your
vague.
opinions
That's
or your
yes.
take.
His
So what did he
platform
say?
is about they will not
what exactly-
replace us.
So what exactly did he say?
I mean, are we going through the internet for Stephen Miller quotes? Because that's not time effective.
No,
if you know him, you know about his.
You're the one.
Do you know about Stephen Miller? Do you know about Stephen Miller?
I don't need to know about Stephen Miller, brother.
But you.
What
you know what?
Do you know about
my
Stephen
man?
Miller
I'm gonna tell you like this. That's like me saying, "Oh, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan." Oh, I don't need to know about Saquon Barkley. I'm just an Eagles fan.
I'm a Philadelphia Eagles
I don't
fan.
need to know about Jalen Hurts. I'm an Eagles fan. I don't. Who won the game? I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan. That's ridiculous.
That's me that you're talking about.
Right.
That's me.
Right. And you would be ridiculous if I was like, "Yo, who the Eagles play this week and did they win?" Oh, I don't care who they play and who wins. I'm just an Eagle fan. That's ridiculous.
So what else do you have an issue with, brother? We're talking about the Eagles now. What else would you like to talk about?
What I would like to talk about is you misinforming people, especially having such a...
Anything specific, anything very targeted and specific, anything specific.
Very targeted and specific, Trump not being racist.
Okay. So where did I get that wrong?
I don't know where you got it from.
No, where did
but
I
if you, well,
which give me an example of how he is.
Where you got it wrong is Trump cannot have Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon sculpting his policies and his political platform and not be racist. That is, even if you're accidentally racist, you're racist.
Okay. All right. So what is the next thing you have an issue with then?
Beyond Trump being racist and Project 2025, yeah. The fact that you're misguiding people with this information, and that's tantamount to being a sellout to me. If you're leading black people, especially in the wrong direction politically, leading them to slaughter. Now listen, the Democratic Party, like I said, is a different brand of corrupt. So
this party doesn't slaughter. That's my question in that.
Here's what I'll tell you. My honest belief is that Democrats are more inclusive, and their form of corruption gives a facade of benefiting more people. Essentially, they're all benefiting themselves.
Not a version of slaughter to you?
I don't think that's a version of slaughter.
So I should have left people to the Democrats so that they can be given hope that something was going to happen just to be let down by corruption. That's not slaughter.
No. I think that more positive than it's the lesser of two evils to me.
In which way?
So more positive, and if we look at the economy, if we look at the political, the social climate, you don't see a bunch of Nazis really marching around that much with flags through Columbus, Ohio, and wherever else. You don't see a bunch of white nationalists being that emboldened when Democrats are in office. That's what I'll say.
What do you see in Bolden when Democrats are in office?
You know what is emboldened? I just think Democrats are a different form of. There is a it's more of a universal benefit in general. Even like I said, they're the lesser of two evils, but I think what's emboldened is probably arrogance. I don't know, because I feel like Democrats just get well, that's part of why the Democratic Party is where it is now. It's because motherfuckers got so cocky and we're like, oh, we got this in a bag. We got a black woman, or we got a black man, or we got Hillary, or like they get super arrogant. And but at the end of the day, there are more black and brown people and more women and more people being empowered by the Democratic Party at this point than by the Republican Party. Republican Party is supposed to, my father was a Republican, by the way.
Yes.
Republican Party is supposed to be the party of small government.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to get into every aspect. They don't want to legalize marijuana on a federal level. They want to, a lot want to ban abortion. Like, they want to get all in your life, but then they say they're small government. That's hypocrisy to me. That's the height of hypocrisy to me. So I have no party. I look at each party, Green Party, Libertarian. I look at all the candidates and I say, who's aligned more with my views and what needs to happen for the greater good at this point in juncture. The Trump whole platform of white nationalism and white supremacy and putting Bibles in every school and all of that and taking books away, I don't feel like as a society that's where we need to be going. We don't need to be taking away people's freedoms. We need to be giving people more freedoms, and that's not what that political platform is doing.
Okay. I feel like there's no point to the rest of this conversation, brother. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but I don't feel like this is any version of intellectual honesty at all, man.
So
I don't feel like
dishonest? What do you feel is dishonest?
I don't think that you've actually thought about these things. I think that you're having an emotional reaction to these things. I don't think you've actually gone to look up anything to see anything concrete. Whenever I ask you an answer, there's a very long there's a very long pause in between when I ask you why you believe certain things. That lets me know that you haven't really thought about those things. You just
that lets you know that I think before I speak, and I also
Trump is a racist. He's hired two people that you think are racist.
Trump is racist because his platform comes from racist people.
That's
Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon are in a Breitbart. Steve Bannon's Breitbart is a white nationalist propaganda machine. Stephen Miller has America First. America First legal. America First is a KKK mantra.
Okay.
That's racist.
I could believe that, but I don't.
So how can you tell me I'm not basing this on any research, or I'm telling you facts from what I see from these people? What do you mean?
That is not based on research, brother. You would have to tell me how those two people have implemented white national policies that you're concerned about, and then you would have to
the Muslim ban.
And then you would have to tell me how Trump saying "Make America Great Again" connects him to the KKK, because he's saying something.
America First, not "Make America Great Again." America First is the KKK mantra. I can show you the photos.
Let me ask you: could you understand why the KKK would be saying "America First"?
Yeah, I do.
Why would they?
Because they're America. What America means to them is white America, and they mean white people first. But they can't come out and say white people first. They have to code it. It's dog whistles.
What would America mean today? What would America First mean today?
You know what? That means something to everybody, to every different. It means something different to every person.
Could it be possible that it means something different to Trump than it did to the Klan?
Okay, I will say it could be possible, but the probability, because of Stephen Miller being a white supremacist
In,
and white
in
nationalist,
which way?
that is a dog whistle.
In which way is
Do
he
you
a
know what
white?
dog
Because
whistles are?
I know what a dog whistle is. I'm willing to believe this, brother. I'm willing to believe it because I don't think being a white nationalist makes you a bad person. Because if I did, I would have to assume the same thing about my friends that are black nationalists. I don't think they're bad people. They might be misguided in some of their beliefs, but I don't think they're bad people. I think their intentions are good. So how is he a white nationalist? I'm willing to go there with you, brother. If you could just give me something. I'm asking you
How
to
is who
give me something
a white
besides your
nationalist?
perspective. How, the people you just named, Stephen Miller and Bannon.
Are you asking me this because you don't know, or you at like because for anybody that
Even if
studies
I
these
did
people,
know, even if I
that's like
did
saying, how
know,
is Farrakhan a Muslim?
even if I did know, I would challenge you. Even if I did know, brother, I would still challenge you to make that point from yourself. So please,
How
come on.
is he a white nationalist?
Yes, very
Because he
specific.
espouses the views of, for one, he espouses the views of Hitler, and number two, because his policies and action in rounding up millions of migrants and shipping them out, in um
Am I
in
a white nationalist? Because I
in
agree.
promoting
I agree.
I mean, you're a default, you're
Am I a
actually
white
a default
nationalist?
white supremacist by pushing some white nationalist white
Like what,
supremacist
brother? Like
agenda.
what? Like
So
what?
you're,
Like what?
I mean, Uncle Ruckus is in the house.
Like
But
what? Which are these policies that I endorse that are makes me
well, the
a default
whole Trump
white?
platform, that's what I'm telling you. When you're defending
That's not an
somebody
answer.
who is
That's not an
racist,
answer.
I'm
See,
finishing the
that's
answer.
okay. Let's
I'm
go.
finishing the answer.
Let's go.
When you're defending the views and pushing the platform of someone who is racist, someone who has policies that are racist, someone who has a platform as white nationalists, white supremacists,
You see how
you're
we're going in.
essentially in the,
You see how we're going in circles. I say, why is Trump racist? Because he hired racists. How are they racist? Because they're
he's
white
not,
supremacists. How are they
he's
white supremacists?
racist.
Because they push white supremacist platforms. Which platforms? The one that Trump pushes. We're going in a circle. We're not actually talking about anything. This is usually when I end conversations because the next thing is yelling and name calling. This is usually when I end conversations. Like if I'm talking about like person to person, like relationship wise. This is usually when I be like, I don't think we're seeing it. We're not going to get there. We're just going to let the people decide, and we could just end it there. Unless you have anything else you'd like to say.
Um, you know, if you're not honest about the fact that Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon and what they represent is coming to the table with Trump, if you're not honest about how that equates to racism and white supremacy and white nationalism,
I'm
then it is
trying
hard
to
to have
go
a
there with you,
conversation.
brother. I literally just said I'm willing to go there because I'm not the type of person that's like racism. Oh, cancel, totally bad. I'm not that type of person. So I'm willing to go there with you, bro. If you could just give me something concrete and say this man is this because of X, Y, and Z, I can say, well, damn, I do see that.
I
I can
just
see
did. I said the
rounding up my
Muslim
migrants,
ban,
rounding
the
up the illegal immigrants.
white nationalist part of that is the mass deportation of those people, and the thought of not only are they doing that, but at the same time they're commandeering education to indoctrinate the children to say it's all about the Bible and white people never did nothing bad and slavery didn't exist, and it's all of these things together. It's not just one item or one aspect. All of these things together are what make a white nationalist agenda. So if that's not coming, if all of that is not coming together for you in this conversation, I understand it. I respect your right to, I guess, not make that correlation, but that's true to life. And you're not gonna, if Barack Obama went out and brought in Farrakhan and Master Fard Muhammad or anybody else in their views, he'd be called a Muslim and a Nation of Islam
Yeah,
member.
which they did.
Period.
Which they did. They did that. They did do that.
They tried it, but he wasn't even doing that. That's the thing. They called him Muslim, but I never saw, I never heard Barack Obama say Assalamu alaikum or talk about how to eat to live,
Maybe he
or
was doing dog whistles, bro. Maybe he was doing dog whistles.
I listen for dog whistles. I listened for all of
But you
that.
can't
When
hear
Kamala was running, when
you're
Kamala
not the
Harris ran
dog.
for AG in
You're not the
California,
dog. You
I
can't hear
heard
the
the dog
whistle.
whistles and what she was saying. She was saying law and order and all these other. I was like, why is a sister talking about putting more people in jail?
She's
Like,
trying to
what
get
is,
Trump votes.
and
She
part of
had to become a
politicians,
conservative.
part of what they do is say whatever they got to say in order to get elected.
Mhm.
And that's what Trump did. Full circle. Trump said, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's not me. Because he knew the people in the middle who would vote for him would not vote for him if they felt like he had extreme views. So that is more to the point.
I don't think
He
it really
he
mattered,
detached
bro. I don't.
from
How
that.
can
He
people
said,
have failed to realize that this man has been demonized for what is it now?
well, he's demonized
He's been demonized.
because he's a demon.
Okay, so let's say that that's true.
Like,
Let's
what
let's
do you,
say that that's true.
Satan has been
Let me go
been
where I'm going.
demonized because
Let me
he's
just
Satan.
let me just go where I'm
He's a
going real quick.
demon.
Let me just because it doesn't matter because people voted for Satan. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter. That's my point. No matter what the names you call the man, his base grows and grows and grows. The strategy must change. The only way that
I don't think his base
you
grows
can't
as
hold up.
much as
Let me hold
Elon
up,
Musk and all of that money grows.
hold up. No matter what they've said about the man, they've done Russian collusion. They said that he was racist, that is very fine people on both sides, the mugshot, the convictions, the sexual abuse allegations, everything they've said, that has only made the base grow. None of that stuff matters, bro. Calling him Satan is only going to create more voters. That's what people have to understand. The only way for the other side to actually change, to regain their defected base, is to listen to people and stop insulting people, to treat people like people just because they disagree.
Trump is up here insulting people every day, and
Okay,
everybody on his staff
do you
is. What
understand
do
what you
you
just did,
see?
bro?
That's
Do
where,
you
yeah,
understand what you
that's
just
where
did?
we don't have a
Do you
productive
understand what
conversation
you
because
just did,
you
man?
can't insult people
Do
and
you
get them to vote
understand
for
what
this
you
nigga
just
every
did,
day
bro?
is like, and y'all and Tricky Trend
Oh my
and Shifty
God.
Shifts and what and Kamala's fake
Wow.
black Kamala, and his whole platform is
And
insulting
he
people.
still won. This is my point.
You know what?
That's my
He
point.
won.
It's the
That's what I'm gonna
policies,
say.
bro. It's the
He won.
policies. It's
And
the fact that he
that I
stands
still don't
against
fully
the.
believe based
It's
on
the fact
Elon Musk
that he
and Russia.
stands
I
against
don't
these
fully believe
people.
that. I'm gonna say on record.
Oh, so you think the election was stolen?
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you, bro. I appreciate your time, man. We're gonna end the conversation there. I really appreciate it, especially you saying that last part. I really appreciate
I
that.
mean, I'm just saying, Elon Musk got 4 hours before. He's like,
Yeah,
oh, Donald won.
bro. You
It's
know how
over.
many other
I'm out.
people? You know how many other people had the results 4 hours before the election?
Nobody. Come on, man.
Just look it
People
up
can
on Twitter.
guesstimate and estimate, but ain't nobody like
just
looking in the
just
app
look it.
saying, oh
Just
yeah, this person. You know what? Okay.
just look it up on Twitter,
Maybe
bro.
I'm wrong there.
just
Maybe I'm
just
wrong.
you
Maybe
can you
and
can you can
Putin.
you
Wait, hold
can
on.
literally
Putin's
use
right
search
hand man.
modifiers.
What's his
You
name?
can literally
Putin's right hand man came out and said
hold on
Donald Trump
hold on
won because of the
hold on.
assistance of. Did you not
Okay,
hear that
okay,
part?
hold on one
Did
second.
you
Let me
miss
say this
that?
for the people. Let me say this for the people in chat. Everybody can actually go and look up. Google has a thing that you can use as they're called search modifiers. You're able to actually look up by date certain posts and stories that are made. Yeah, it's called Polymarket. There's a lot of people who use Polymarket to determine that the election was done 4 hours before it was actually called. What you're saying is the election wasn't called by the news networks. They are not the officials.
Okay.
The statistics were already in, and that's how people knew that
But the polls weren't
regardless.
closed. The statistics couldn't
Yes,
be in. The
it
polls were
doesn't.
not
The polls
closed.
don't have
You
to be
can
closed.
guesstimate. Yeah, you can do a
The polls didn't
mathematical
have to be.
guesstimation.
The polls didn't have to be closed. That's the point. I understand what you're saying
The
because that made sense to me too
polls
at
didn't
first.
have to be hold on.
The polls
Right
didn't
there.
have to be
The
closed
polls
for you
didn't
to
have to be
estimate.
closed
Yes, you can go
for
off of
Elon Musk to
registrations.
know.
You can go off of registrations, brother. You can go off of registrations to know. I thought
So
the
you're
same thing as you. I
so
thought the
me being
same
a
thing as you.
registered no
I
party, you
thought
don't know who I'm gonna vote for.
I thought the same thing as you. I thought the same thing as you. You can go off of
Okay.
registrations to be able to predict it. There's softwares and algorithms, bro. There's a software running this platform that you and I don't know how to create right now, allowing us to have this easy user interface, right? People, they knew it 4 hours beforehand, not because the man was cheating, brother, but because there's a software that lets you know. I thought it was mysterious too at first. I had to go and look into it because I just don't take things for granted. So yeah, it seemed weird.
Okay.
Polymarket is a thing. It's like
It did
trying
seem
to
weird.
predict
You know what also
basketball.
seemed weird? I'm gonna say this, and this is your stream and you control it, but this is what also seemed weird. Putin's right-hand man gets gets into the media right after the election and says something to the effect of, yeah, Donald Trump won because of the assistance of numeral entities, and he knows who he owes favors to, basically.
Okay.
What does that cryptic message mean?
It's probably some form of propaganda to get, no offense, people like you to be up in arms. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, that was propaganda.
I'm assuming it is. We'll have to see.
You're So you would assume that it is rather than assume that it's
When
there's some.
Putin
And when
says,
Donald
when
Trump got into
Putin
office the
says, hold on,
first
you asked
time,
me a
the
question. You
first
asked me a
people that he
question.
brought into the White House
I thought you
were
asked me a question.
Putin's two right-hand
Okay,
people.
so
When as soon as
when Putin,
who brings Russia into the White House?
okay, so when Putin says that he's endorsing Kamala, what was that?
When did he endorse Kamala?
Look, somebody just said it in the comments. He said it, I think, in a press conference or something like that. He says he's endorsing Kamala. Now, well, I don't want to say my part. I'm gonna let you say your part. What you think that was, brother?
Putin endorses Kamala Harris. Where is that?
Putin endorses Kamala Harris. I don't know. Look it up, brother.
Vladimir Putin trolls U.S. presidential
See,
race.
that adds the context to it. I wanted to know your perspective before reading anything like that. Me
Well,
personally,
here's my
I
perspective.
thought it
You know
was a
what? Here's
troll.
my hold on. I'm gonna give
Me
you my
personally,
perspective.
I thought it
My
was a troll.
perspective there is that Vladimir Putin is throwing off the scent of the dogs so that it doesn't seem obvious that Trump is his guy.
Okay,
Because he
okay.
obviously from all
The
points
old
of
sayer
connection,
for the other
from
guy
all of
trick.
the connections that they have, Trump is Putin's
Okay,
guy. Is that he's been talking more favorably about Putin than anybody.
okay.
And his last administration is proof of that. The first two guys, there's a photo of Trump bringing Putin's two top right hand people politically into the White House
Hmm.
as soon as he got in.
Okay. Damn.
Why? What president
What
do you
happened
know
when
of
he
the
did that?
United States?
What happened when he did that?
I mean,
What
what do you
came
mean? What happened?
what came
Allegedly, he gave them U.S. secrets. And allegedly, here's the other thing.
what they do
While
with him?
Trump was in office, a bunch of U.S. spies got killed, and y'all can look this up.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of U.S. spies got killed based on what is said to be information Trump gave to Russia.
Said to be by who?
Look it up. Y'all look it up. You know, if I say Politico, if I say Newsmax or Fox News, still you're going to question the source. So just look that up.
I
I'm
just want
saying
to know
all
that
of
there
these
is a
things.
source. I didn't. I just, sometimes things are said, and then you ask somebody where you
Yeah,
hear
no,
that from.
that's
No.
if you look that one up, there are a lot of different sources of information on that story. So this
Sources of
man to
information
me,
on the story. I
no, I'm
got you.
saying, I mean, what else can I tell you? If you look it up online, there are a bunch of different sources that you can look up, and I don't know what source you trust because
I
there's
don't trust any
MSN, there's
sources. I
CNN,
don't
there's
trust any sources. It's how they talk about it. Like when someone says, we heard from someone close to the situation, I'm like, because that's a little too far removed. When you say it's a direct quote, if Joe Biden says it, it's a direct quote. If Kamala says it or Trump says it's a direct quote. If somebody in their party says it, then it's like sources close to the situation says. If you can give me a name of somebody who quotes it, then we can at least pin it on somebody. You see what I'm saying? It's like, then it's not used. It's because the source is close to a person that says that could be really used to just create a narrative that isn't true, and then it's going out there as if it's truth, as if it came from an actual source that we can pin down. You know what I mean? I see a lot of stuff like that on both sides, to be honest with you, on both sides. So I don't care what the source is, it's how they tell the story. That's what I need to know. Who they say the source is, where it comes from. Is this a direct quote? Is it one word in quotes while they add the context around it? Because they do that stuff too. So and so says this story was tragic. That's the only part that's in the quotes, and then it goes on stuff like that. So that's what I pay attention to. So I don't care about the sources. It's how they tell the story. Like, who is the source that says this? Who are the people that said this? At one point in time, they was telling us that the Hunter Biden story was Russian disinformation. So it's not that I trust the officials that later then come out and say, no, actually it was real. You see what I'm saying? So just because the officials put out a report, like when the FBI says that violent crime was down, but really they just hadn't included all of the state stats yet. And then they had to re-update the stats, but the first story had already come out. So people say, damn, the violent crime has gone down, and y'all is lying. Y'all lying. Trump's lying, and then it comes out actually they cook the books and haven't gone down, stuff like that. So it's not the sources, it's how they tell the story and stuff like that.
All things considered. But like I said, you support what you support. You know, politically, I got family on all sides of the spectrum. But at this point, for as a black man in America, supporting a white nationalist, a deliberate white supremacist agenda, is a form of treason and it's sellout to me. That's
Who'd you
what it
vote
is.
for? Who'd you vote for?
On this ticket, I voted for Kamala.
That's not. She's not backed by white supremacy and stuff.
No, she's backed by elitists. She's not backed by white supremacists like that. And you know what? That's another thing. There are different. I feel like there's different levels of. There are different levels of. I can't say everybody 100% who supports Kamala is not racist, and I can't say 100% of the people that support Trump are racist. Like, I don't think that it is an absolute there, but I think their platforms and what they stand for and where we are at this juncture in time are what's most important. And I think the majority of people that were backing Kamala would like to see the Constitution being upheld and would like to see some inclusiveness. And granted, I don't agree with all of the I don't agree with everything that Democrats stand for.
You know not to say it. I know exactly what you was going to say. You know not to say it.
What do you mean? Careful. I know not to say what?
Don't say it by name. Just be general now. I know what you're saying.
Don't say
Let's talk about
what? No, tell me what I'm saying. Because I'll own it.
I'm just fucking with you, bro. Let me keep going.
I own what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that the majority of people, if you look at Trump's cabinet right now, that's really the America that's the America that they want great.
Vivek, Tulsi, RFK.
I mean, a lot of white people and a couple of others sprinkled in there. Vivek is a bootlicker, and like he's just, and Elon comes from racist.
Do you think that a black politician serves his black constituents, bro? That's what you think?
No, I don't think that necessarily. I don't think Obama served black people like that, but I think that the greater good and the economy is better served under Democrats than it is Republicans, and that's proved. That's proven. That's not something that that's not like something I'm just guesstimating or something that.
Hold on. Then why did everybody vote for the convicted?
Not everybody voted like nah. First of all, there's a difference between a popular vote and the Electoral College. That's one thing.
Yes, there is.
And there's also the people who did not show up that don't necessarily support.
And the people who voted against the Democrats in protests. Also,
people who voted against Democrats in protest for the process. I don't like how Kamala got propped up like that. That's not. I mean, but that's the thing. So a lot of people protest voted, but also weren't thinking, yo, well, I'm protest voting for a racist, a white supremacist agenda. They just wanted to, they bought the bait. They bit the bait that you put out. They bit the bait that other people put, these other black so-called Trump supporters, maggots put out. They bit the bait. But it's understandable that people would vote against that what just happened in the Democratic Party. I'm not saying it's not. It makes sense. I voted against it when they gave Bernie the shaft.
Why would you go back to a party that did that to the candidate that you was for?
I didn't go back to the party though. My vote went to that party because it was more opposed.
Not
my vote. Okay.
Your vote.
I calculated my vote when it was back when Hillary ran. I was living in Miami. Hillary was gonna win where I was living, and I got a personal family thing where I'll never vote for a Clinton ever. It's personal, and I admit that. So back then, I was a Jill Stein vote, and I thought Jill Stein was a crackpot. But I was like, I'm not voting for Trump, and I'm not voting for Hillary.
Right.
It was that. Then Biden came. I saw what Trump did with his first administration. I was like, yeah, Biden shouldn't be the candidate either, but I'm gonna just go ahead and vote for this dude to get out of what we just were in. And I calculated my vote then. This time I voted in New York. It was New York it could have been anything. So as opposed to doing a protest vote, And I'm not good. Who thinks they're going to be the one vote to change an election? But for me, instead of protesting and the support, I'm from LA. She's from Oakland. She's a as I'll say she's blacker than Barack Obama to me. She went to Howard and she's an AKA and she grew up in Oakland. That's blacker than Barack to me. A mixed dude that grew up in Hawaii with with his white mom and grandmom and whatever else. To me, if she was a white girl that did all of that, I'd be like, yo, I mean, she went to Howard and she's an AKA. Like, that's some kind of black card to me.
Okay.
So I voted for a sister in my mind. I voted for a fellow Californian in my mind, even though I didn't like what she did as AG. I didn't like who she was then, but all of these factors, and I voted more against white supremacy and white nationalism than anything. This fool said, "Get Uncle Phil out of here, man." Oh, you funny. I'm slimmer than Uncle. First of all, ain't no.
Like
I'm about to hit LA Fitness right now. Ain't no Uncle Phil and me, Playboy. I don't know who you are, but hit my inbox. No Uncle Phil.
Come on, brother. Let's calm down with the threats to the people.
All right, my bad. I got a little. That was emotional. That was emotional. I'll admit that.
Hey,
I wasn't
comments roll off your back, man.
Nah,
imagine
man.
If I did that to you,
and I ain't let nothing roll. Ain't nothing slide today. Nothing slide.
Imagine if
Uncle Phil. I'm a Uncle Phil. You. I'm a jazz you out the house, Playboy. How about that? You want these Uncle Phil problems?
Yo, don't let the comments get you in your feels. Don't let
I know, man. I gotta do better. I'm new to this. I gotta do better.
I see. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Imagine if it was 100 people leaving comments like that to you. That's what my world like, big boy. That's what my world like. Welcome to the party.
You know what? I respect that. I still think you're a sellout, but I respect your tough skin. You're not the spook that sat by the door, Playboy. You are not him.
You funny, man.
If you were on that, I would be like, yo, this motherfucker's a genius.
If I was doing what?
If you were like doing this, are you familiar with the spook who sat by the door?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm not talking to a black man. Damn.
No. I was about to make a joke, but
I thought I was talking to a black man. I'm talking to.
I'm not talking to a black man. I'm gonna let you know that now. I'm gonna let you know that now. You're not talking to a black guy. You're not talking to a black man. I'm gonna let you know that now. I don't fit into anybody's boxes. I need you to understand that now. My original.
I'm talking to.
My original origin is a spirit, brother, not a human being. That's my original origins.
Okay.
You're not talking to a black man. You're talking to a child.
But I mean, in the physical realm, in the reality, and the political, social, political reality of America.
A descendant of the Most High.
Okay.
A direct.
How about this?
Offspring.
I want you to go to Alabama.
Been there.
Go to Alabama, out in the state.
Where you want me to go? Let me tell you how I slept at a racist gas station in Polk County, and they let me sleep there. Let me tell you how I walked in there and they treated me with respect because I treated them with respect. And then I went to my car and fell asleep, and then they let me stay there. Let me tell you that. So yes, because real racists aren't animosity. They're not the type of people that you think. They're not. I
know what racists are. They come in many forms. Yeah, and it's not always an assault.
The ones that you typically run into actually have a lot more emotional composure than you, to be honest with you. That's the difference. That's why you would be able to have a conversation with them and understand where they're coming from. And they'd be willing to hear you out as well. Because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be understood. That's what they want. That's why one of my personal heroes is Daryl Davis, a person who has actually been going on a mission to overcome racism, not an anti-racist who just continues to create more racism, a person who actually lets people see that we have much more in common than we have different, regardless of our skin complexion, regardless of what a black person did to you in your history or a white person did to me in mine. And that person individually, single-handedly, has gotten over 200 members. And that was when the story first came out. Over 200 members have left the Klan because of this man. That's somebody that's actually out there trying to overcome racism and not continue to create it so that they can profit off of it. That's somebody who can create racial animosity so that they can say, see here, this is why you should continue to fund and vote for us. That's the person that's actually trying to solve the problem. That's why the left doesn't bring him up when they talk about being against racism. That's why they don't do that. because they're not about solutions. They're actually more about revolution, to be honest with you, not actually resolution. That's not what they're about. So yeah, me personally, I'm not against people who are racist. I want to understand why, because that's what Daryl Davis wants to understand, and that's why he's successful, because he asks why, as opposed to just cutting them off and saying that they're bad because of their beliefs and all that type of shit. I don't agree with that, because I've seen it demonstrated now. I've seen both demonstrated, and I like what he did better. It's successful. People who actually tried to kill black people because of their beliefs of black people, who have now changed their lead or changed their beliefs. That's like salvation in a sense. That's something Jesus is supposed to be able to do for you. Somebody who actually was like, I hate these people so much I would kill them, who hands over their Klansmen's robes to this man because now they recognize how wrong they were. That's how you overcome racism. That's how we would do it. But, you know, as you were saying.
That's pretty much it, my man. I bringing in people that clearly promote white nationalism and white supremacy. That association and a political platform makes you that.
Okay. I guess we just gonna have to agree to disagree on that point. But like I said, I do appreciate you getting on here and doing this. You know, not everybody's gonna put a face behind their words that they say in the comment section. So I appreciate that. Just so you know, this is going to be posted on my page and stuff like that. So just so you know in advance, let me know if you like to be tagged or I could not tag you, because
You can tag me. I mean, I'm
all right. So
not sure exactly what it is we accomplished other than putting faces to the keyboards, but that is, I'll say that's my position, is that both parties are inherently corrupt. They're different forms of corruption, and one of them is more beneficial than the other at this point. They both need to be blown up and reset. The Republican Party is fragmented from MAGA to what they call rhinos, Republican in name only, when MAGAs are really the ones who are only Republican in name, because they're not really, they're more extremists. And Democrats are fragmented. Like I'm looking for a legitimate third party to come in and actually have some type of political weight. That's really what I'm here
to be
for.
honest with you, MAGA is the third party. They're just
MAGA
inside of the party.
is not necessarily a third party. MAGA is a fringe movement that I don't think people who are part of that movement fully understand because there's so much mystery at the top of it, so much that they won't tell you. Speaker Johnson won't tell you, oh, we have secrets, and Donald Trump is like, oh, I have a concept of a plan. Like, there's so much that they're not telling you that, no, I'm saying there's
No,
a
it's
lot
just that
that they're
I've
like,
heard that
don't worry
so
about that.
many times. Every time I hear that, it's like when I hear the word when somebody says you Uncle Tom, it's like, oh my God, you're brainwashed. Not you, I'm not talking about you. I don't know if you said that, but it's like when somebody says Uncle Tom, it's like, oh, so you use the white liberal insults. You don't even know the actual history to say
No, I say Uncle
I can't say
Ruckus.
it. I can't
I don't
say
say Uncle
it.
Tom.
I almost, whew, if I say the wrong thing, they're gonna cancel this and then it's done. And we should probably get off of here now, because I don't even know if the UC word is that UT is bad. So let's go ahead and end this, brother, because this is good. I don't want to lose this. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you. I'm gonna jump right back on here. I just want to make sure this is saved. You know, y'all come back if y'all want to. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.